good morning everyone, and welcome to another Voice Essentials live session. It's, well, what time is it here in the morning? It is 20 to 8. I thought I'd do an early one for you, hoping to catch a few of you before you head off to bed in the Northern Hemisphere. So when I say it's quarter to 8 or 20 to 8, it's 20 to 8 in the morning. And so I'm doing this before I actually take my youngest to school and get the day started in the studio. I've got a full list of clientele this morning and looking forward to it. Students again from all over Australia, so that'll be exciting. Bartek has already jumped in, and Bartek you're Polish, living in England. That's good to know, Bartek, and you're a regular here, so it's good to have you along. Today what we're going to do, as always, we're going to do some live Q&A, but also I want to talk to you about a slightly controversial subject, a subject that, you know, many of us, I think, have come into contact with, and that is this idea of who has an authoritative voice here on YouTube when it comes to learning to sing. There are many different people here on YouTube who, you know, claim to be gurus and what have you. And so we're going to unpack that a little. I'm hoping to answer your questions as we go. So stay tuned, and hopefully we'll have a really productive chat. Today we are going to keep this to 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So it's going to be short, sharp, sweet. I hope you'll leave your questions in the notes section, in the comments section, and the chat box, and we'll get to those in just a moment.
Sound check. Check 1, check 2.
So, as I said, it is 20 to 8 here in Australia, Brisbane, Australia. And for those of you who don't know where Brisbane is about one day's drive, about 1,000 kilometres north of Sydney. And so we have a slightly warmer, slightly more humid atmosphere, weather than Sydney. And I'll give you, let's see if I can, I thought I had, let me see if I can give you a look at, I'll see if I can give you a look at outside to show you we've got a beautiful day here in Brisbane, and connect that. And so I'm trying to see if we can connect that up. And so here, this is what it looks like here in Brisbane today. Beautiful day, and we're headed for a top of around about 32 degrees. So not too hot and hopefully not too humid. I'm sure it won't be. I'm sure it's going to be an absolutely gorgeous day. So as I said, we are wanting to, and if you can, leave your, I've got the comments section going here. Kev Tran, nice to see you, Kev, from Toronto. And Lorenz has jumped in from Bolivia. And g'day there. I'm looking forward to reading your questions as the live stream goes to air. Make sure you leave your questions here, and we'll get to them in just a moment. And that's the whole point of these sessions, is to be able to answer your questions live. A lot of you leave questions in my on my YouTube channel, and for those of you who don't know, I do have a YouTube channel here called Voice Essentials. And there's over 200 videos on the channel that you can take advantage of. It's all, of course, it's all free, and there's videos answering a whole range of questions, and that sort of is a great segue to talking about where do we get out the best advice here on YouTube. Who can offer us the best advice when it comes to learning to sing? And there are some people here on YouTube, some who have small channels and some who have large channels, who do go to some of them only just stop short of saying there is no one else who can provide your voice with instruction. And some of them try to set themselves up as gurus, some of them attack other coaches, and at the end of the day, it's not very helpful. Can I just state, and so that you know really clearly where I stand on this issue, is no one person can be the totality of information for your voice. It is simply not possible. If it were, then wow. One single human being cannot give you everything you need. And I would venture that if they were able to, then your journey may really lack for the richness and variety of information that we know can come from a full journey, a fully experienced journey of learning to sing. So for example, here on Voice Essentials, I certainly provide you with a whole range of ideas and thoughts. I like to think that many of the thoughts that I provide you are well researched and well considered, but I am not perfect. I'm a human being, and in fact there have been a number of times here on YouTube where in the comments section I have been corrected, and one particular thing stands out, and that was I was corrected by a 16-year-old female singer. I forget where she was from, and she was right. I had said something in one of my videos that when I went back and checked what I had said, what I thought was a well-considered comment, I found that actually the information that I had provided was slightly skewed to be less than correct. And she corrected me, and I had to swallow my doctor pride and go, you are right, I'm wrong. Thank you for providing me with the opportunity to correct the information that I'm providing here on YouTube. And that's an important thing, I think, for many of us who are providing you with information here on YouTube. That's an important place to find ourselves. One can never think more highly of themselves than they ought. No one person is perfect, and I, as you may well guess, am not given to subscribing to the guru status of singing teachers. The reality is many of the best singing teachers in the world don't have YouTube channels. And so there are some great singing teachers here on YouTube, and I collaborate with a number of them. Freya Casey, who is from Germany, and Mark Baxter in the US. There are a number of great singing teachers who provide well-considered, well-researched lessons here on YouTube for you. But at the end of the day, none of us are perfect, and none of us can provide you with everything that your voice needs. And that's why I always encourage you to develop, to collect the counsel of many. I very much hope that Voice Essentials and me, Dr. Dan, that I can be a part of your counsel. But I never want me to be the sole voice that you are listening to. Allow my voice to be judged against the voices of the many people that sit around your table of voice development. And allow that counsel to direct, that counsel of many, to direct your vocal development. And as you progress, as you develop, then we would hope that you would start to experience, a full and a rich journey of vocal development. We want it to be influenced by many different teachers. No one single teacher can provide you with everything. And be careful with claims of guru status. I'm not going to mention others. This is not a video about naming and shaming video creators here on YouTube. Because I think for the vast majority of people, singing teachers that are here on YouTube, they legitimately do want to help. They really want to provide you with great instruction. They want to provide you with the tools to realize your full vocal potential. I really do believe that for the vast majority of singing teachers here on YouTube, they are doing that without malice. They really want to see you advance in your voice. And certainly I know I want to do that for you, and I've got a number of tools here on YouTube that I know you will find helpful, and I know that you will, so if you, for example, if you're looking for a free short course, you can jump across, and there are links to these in the note sections below. You can jump across to the 7 Days to a Better Voice, and you go looking for this logo here. And there it is, 7 Days to a Better Voice. You can go and join up on that program, and it even has a discount to my exercise CD. It gives you $10 off, so it only costs you $15 for the entire CD. And there's actually more than 7 days worth of exercises on the CD. In fact, it usually takes me about 12 months to work through the CD with one of my students. There's that much in there. But again, my CD and my program is not the only way you can do this. It is simply one of many, and I hope that you will find it helpful. So let's see what questions we've got going along here. For those of you who have left questions in the notes sections below, Bartek, as soon as I've noticed your stream is on, I stopped the activity I was doing, and here I am. That's great, Bartek. As for those of you who don't know, and for those of you who this is the first time you've ever jumped in, I do these live sessions very irregularly, in the sense that I do once, sometimes twice in a week, and it is on an unscheduled basis. It's when I've got free time, whether it be because of a student cancelling or what have you. I jump in and I do these live Q&As, so hopefully you can keep an eye out. And for those of you who are interested, let me just jump over here and I will show you how to get a, I'm just jumping in here. Now, how do we get the, actually, I was just going to show you how to make sure you can get notification when I do go live, and you just hit next to the subscribe button. So you've got to subscribe first to the channel, and then there's a little bell icon. You hit that, and you can ask to receive notifications when I do go live or when I upload a new video. I do upload a scheduled video every Thursday. This week we're looking at the position of the larynx. What is the best position of the larynx? And that's not live. That is a pre-recorded video that I do put a lot of effort into researching or what have you. And so you can get notifications of those as well. Kev Tran, oh, okay, here we go. Let me just go back up here. Where are we? Stop that, we're getting jealous. I have no idea what you're talking about there, Bartek. Nice to see you, Cassio from Brazil, and Mr. Burning Hamster. Mr. Burning I love some of these handles on YouTube. That is a really good handle, Mr. Burning Hamster. From Germany, good to see you. Oh, okay, I see you're talking about the weather, Bartek, as Kev Tran is. Yeah, for those of you who have only just tuned in, this is what we're looking at today. Oh, let's get rid of that. We don't need to see the 7 Days logo. So that's the day we're looking at. So my studio looks out onto that view. In fact, sometimes my students have to be brought back from their daydreaming as they look out my studio window. So yes, it is a beautiful day here in Australia. You're very lucky, Dan. It's pretty cold up in here in Canada. Yes, but see, the funny thing is I love skiing, and so it's almost like I live in the wrong place in the world because I love to ski. And so we have no snow here in Queensland, Australia. But so I am jealous of you for living in a climate that possibly is close to some skiing. Aaron Pulse, hello from Hungary. Good to see you. The sessions are great. Dan, I have a question. A question, good. Let's get to this. How come my voice feels and sounds better when I sing on la, la, la? It very well could be your tongue position. When we sing la, you can notice that the L, the tip of the tongue has to come forward to the hard palate, the ridge of the hard palate, and it drags the tongue forward, which brings the tongue up and forward away from the back of the throat. When your tongues often are lazy, and tongues often want to sit back in the throat, yeah? And so when we go la, 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 it brings the tongue up and forward, and so it's training and teaching your tongue to sit up and forward. And so there's actually a really fun activity that I've got here on the YouTube channel. You jump across to the channel, go looking for the Lady Gaga exercise, and you can hear la, lady is in the activity. It's Lady Gaga, Lady Gaga, ga. And it's all designed to help the tongue come up and forward and to articulate well. So you might find that helpful. Aaron, what other singing teacher channels do you follow, Dan? Singwise channel has almost as good advice as you. Freya is great too. Do you know what? It's not for me to tell you who you should or you should not follow. What I would encourage you to do is allow the teacher to resonate with you. Great learning happens when there is a great connection between you and your voice coach. And not everyone that steps into my studio, not every one of my students do we feel that sense of connection. I would like to think that because I've been teaching for over 20 years, that I'm able to mold and meld myself to my students so that I provide a more often than not good resonance with my students. I'm using the singing term resonance more for a psychological point of view. You get the point, right? But my job as the singing teacher is to connect in with the student, but that does not always happen on a 100% consistent basis. Sometimes I just know that for whether it's personality, you know, whether the student's just not ready to take on board the direction that I'm leading them down, can be for a whole range of reasons. And so it's not for me to tell you who you should or shouldn't listen to. If I started to do that, I start to set myself up as a guru, and that's not what I want to be for you. I want to be one of many voices, and hopefully a voice that you trust, a voice that has 20 years of teaching experience and research experience. But I certainly don't want to be the person that tells you who you should or shouldn't listen to. Like I said, I collaborate with Freya and I've collaborated with Mark, and I'm hoping to collaborate with both of those creators again this year because they are people that I trust. But again, find people who you resonate with, Aaron, and let us know how you get on. Now, Lorenz, I have a deep voice and I'm trying to improve my vocal range. I've been able to do this with a method that I learned from another channel, but I would like advice from here. I have a deep voice and I'm trying to improve my vocal range. You know, one of the challenges in contemporary music is, and for a lot of singers, is we do become captivated with the idea of height, you know, and it comes from popular culture musics, where currently with pop music and R&B, there seems to be this constant, rally towards singing higher. And it's a great shame because as a result, we don't get to hear enough of voices like yours, Lorenz, where it's a deeper voice and it has, more beautiful coloured hues and all those sorts of things that only I as a true tenor can dream of creating. And so, my jealousy goes the other way. My jealousy is of those richer timbres because my voice I've got to really work hard to get those sort of colours. And so I celebrate your deeper voice. As far as improving your vocal range, what I encourage you to do is firstly embrace who you are, don't fight your anatomy, and really intentionally develop your anatomical range. Don't try to add notes that don't exist on top of your anatomy. Zone in on what's called your prime voice, though, that one octave, octave and a half, that where you just have these beautiful sweet notes, your voice feels comfortable, and then look to develop either end, your lower range and your upper range, and look to fill the voice out. But don't find yourself, and this goes across the board, everyone, do not find yourself only working on the extremities of your voice. When you do that, you remember Popeye, and he had one arm, you can't see anything on mine, he had one arm that had one particular muscle that was really overly developed. We do not want that in contemporary, in great contemporary singing. We want a fully balanced voice where every register is being fully developed, whether it's not only the extreme notes that you work on, but you also work on where you're going to spend 95% of your vocal time. And then when it comes to choosing repertoire for the lower voice, don't hesitate to change the keys of contemporary music. In classical music, in much of music theatre, changing keys is a no-no. In contemporary vocals, knock yourselves out. Change the key, make it comfortable. If anything, if the key sounds radically different, that's exciting. It means you're making the tune your own. So don't hesitate to change keys and put it into a key that's more comfortable for you. Now, how long have we been going here? I'm not exactly sure. 22 minutes. We are not going to stay here for much longer. I'm going to answer 2 more questions, and then we're going to call it a day. Let me get rid of that notice there. Dr. Dan, I think, this is Samuel's question. Dr. Dan, I think I have a lot of phlegm in my throat. When I try to go into my mixed voice, there's like a blockage. My voice sounds raspy when I start to go higher in my range as well. What should I do? Well, I do have a video, Samuel, on the channel where you can go looking for dealing with phlegm, or I forget exactly what it's called, how to deal with phlegm or how to get rid of phlegm. And there's a whole series of great tips on that video that you can take advantage of, including steaming and a whole range of things. When I try to go into my mixed voice, there's like a blockage. That may well be that because if you've got a lot of phlegm, you may have found yourself clearing a lot, which when we clear, the vocal folds get brought together in quite an abrasive manner, which in turn can lead to some swelling, some edema of the vocal folds, and the edema can then leave you with feeling like you've got a blockage. So jump across, have a look at that video, and then Samuel, if you've got any questions, leave the questions in the comment sections below of that same video, and I'll be sure to answer that for you. We're going to give the last question to Indent, because, sorry, not Indent, Ident Music, and then we are going to call it a day. Doc, I've said before, you're one of the very few, no, I didn't give you the last question because because you're about to say, I think you're about to say a nice thing. Doc, I've said before, you're one of the very few teachers I've ever connected with and whose material has been trustworthy and practical. I'm sure all of us watching would agree. Well, thank you very much, Ident. That's not a question, that's a statement. I appreciate it, and Ident, I'm glad you're getting some good information out of our time here together. Okay, we'll give the last question to Rosina Khan. Hi, Dr. Dan. I had thyroid surgery 4 years ago and I stopped singing. Before a few months ago, I started again, but I'm having trouble singing upper notes. So how can I improve? Rosina, it's unlikely that thyroid surgery, the thyroid gland sits external on the outside and sort of comes around the edge of the thyroid cartilage. Unless the intubation caused you some damage, and sometimes we do get some bruising from intubation during surgery. The surgery for your thyroid cartilage, for your thyroid gland, is external to the actual larynx itself. So there shouldn't be any significant impact from your thyroid surgery on your voice. As far as singing your upper notes go, I very much doubt, I never rule anything out, I've seen some unusual things with singing over the years, but I doubt that your difficulty with your upper notes is in connection with your thyroid surgery. It's probably the distance between when you've had the surgery to when you've started singing again that's left your upper notes underdeveloped. Maybe the musculature has just had a little bit of atrophy and the muscle tone is not there. And so my encouragement to you is to start workshopping the voice again and start accessing those upper register notes. And you can, using my exercise CD, there's a whole range of exercises on there. I think from memory, exercises 9, 10 and 11, not to mention exercises 15, 16 and 17 will all help you to access your upper register and to work your voice into your upper register and exercising up into those upper notes. And I dare say it's more a muscle tone issue for you than it is anything else. And so I would encourage you, Rosina, to just start using your upper register again and see how you go. And hopefully that will start to strengthen the muscles that activate your upper register and have the ligament and the vocal fold just start to elongate a little, and suddenly you'll start to get things will be a little easier for you in your upper notes as you start to workshop them. Remember, your voice develops with use, and so if you are using your voice in a well-balanced, healthy manner, then you can be very much looking forward to a well-balanced voice. Well, I said we were going to give Rosina the last question. It was the last question. Connor, thanks for dropping in. You're from Germany. Nice to see you, but we are finishing. I hope these sessions are great. Don't forget, if you want to subscribe to the channel, make sure you jump across the channel or hit the subscribe button here at the bottom. You can also hit the bell icon and get notifications. I do these live sessions at irregular times. And so I drop in, and today we dropped in really early, hopefully trying to catch some of you, and we've caught a number of you in Europe, which is fantastic, and give you the opportunity to ask your questions live. So make sure you subscribe, join the channel, let your friends who are into singing know about the channel. We are growing a really healthy, encouraging, supportive community here at Voice Essentials. And I'm loving getting to know so many of you, so many of your names, even in the chat sections today, are familiar to me. And it's good to see you regularly coming along. So I hope you have a great rest of the week. Don't forget to check out Thursday's video, which will be about laryngeal position, really important subject in the development of your voice. And so until I see you in the next Voice Essentials video, I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.